Welcome to the Tony Gaskin Show, best-selling author, celebrity life coach, and international speaker. The purpose of this show is to bring you motivation, inspiration, and education in the areas of life, love, and business. Thank you for joining me. Now let's get started. Today, got a couple of interesting questions. This first one is kind of long. Now, when I'm reading these, you may get tired of listening, but you got to get mad with your friends. Don't blame me. But this is, hey, welcome to my inbox. Remember, if you have a question, send it to inbox@tonygaskins.com. But people will write me some novels. And so I'm like, hey, if they assume I have the time to read it, then let me take the time since they sent me this novel. So this one is a little longer, but not too bad. From a young lady, and she says, "Hi, Tony. I hope I'm not all over the place with this. It's a lot to take in. I'm in a relationship with a man that's in prison. He's been in there for a while now. I messed around with someone else from time to time. He asked about a certain situation, and I was honest about cheating. We got into it. I called him names, hung up on him, etc. So at this time, he had a phone while locked up. I made him a Facebook page so he could connect to family members. So whenever he got a message, I would see he had a message in my email. Now, when I made his page, I told him he could change his password if he wanted to. So he wanted to exchange passwords, but I said, no, we should not have to do all that. So he changed his. So anyway, I start seeing messages from this lady. I asked about her. He says it's a childhood friend and we're just catching up. So I'm seeing more and more emails from this person. He has a different answer every time. So I'm seeing a big change in him and we constantly are arguing. Everything I was doing was wrong in his eyes. He was drinking and smoking in prison, something he never did. So in the meantime, he was due to be getting transferred closer to where I was. Once he got transferred, the truth comes out. He tells me this certain lady sent him some money. I'm like, why would she send you money? So he said, well, I didn't tell you something because every time I mention her name, you would go off. So he says she's helping me get my program started and she hadn't heard from me. So she sent the money so I could call her. But baby, I called you first. I said, I'm about to get to the bottom of this. From the emails, he messaged her on Facebook and he asked her, can we talk? She sent her number. I got an earful. So she said, I emailed her and got her phone number, asked her, can we talk? I got an earful and so did she. They were in a relationship for 6 months. That's the time we started falling out. And they were starting the program together and they used to date in their younger days. He was in a relationship with me, but not anymore. So for the next 3 days, I didn't respond or answer his call. And when I did, he still tried to lie. And after a few days, he came clean and said everything she said was true and he loves her. Excuse me, you say what? That was a big blow. So he ran through this whole scenario of me cheating and how bad that hurt him and how I talked to him, calling him names, and that he was mad and didn't like me anymore and he was going to get me back. So he was trying to push me away, but he couldn't let go. We had conversations about ending it before this all came out, but neither one of us could let go. So he said I started changing. Our conversation started to be more back to the norm. He was right. I started seeking God more, which I don't know if God was preparing me for the situation. He was messed up on the inside and he started smoking and drinking because he didn't know how to deal with the fact that he was in love with 2 women and he knows he's not letting me go, but at the same time, he ain't trying to let her go either. So to get to the end of the story, thank you. He says he wants me. He says he sees the future with me, even though he did start this program with her. He doesn't see a future with her. So the problem is you have to let this woman in our life, you fell in love, you trusted her with your dream, your baby. So that means she's going to be a part of our life for a while. He sent me a copy of the emails where it's over between them. But still, after that, he asked if it's all right that she came and visit because she needed to talk about the program and didn't want to do it over the phone or through email. But she also wants me to meet her daughter because we got attached over these last months with helping him out with her, helping her out with her homework and stuff. He's being honest. He's been too honest with the situation now. So my thing is, if you fall back off, why would she want to bring her daughter to a prison to see a man that's not going to be in her life like that? I'm just saying, sounds strange to me. So I take my part I played in this, but he still let it happen. How am I supposed to get over this pain with her still being in the picture some type of way? How am I supposed to trust and believe him through the situation when they still love one another? I never experienced this type of pain before. It caught me completely off guard. Our bond to one another is so deep that it's scary. This is a relationship that started off as a pen pal 7 years ago. He said I was the hardest person to get. So after a while, it became a challenge for him and took him 1 year, he said. I really love him and I don't want to lose him because he really is a good man. But I want to be able, but I won't be able to continue on like this. Up until this situation, I've never had any trust issues with him. I'm lost, for real, for real. I need some feedback. I know this is a lot, and this is a short version. You don't have to read it on your show, but if you can get some type of feedback to what you think about the situation, I really appreciate it. Sorry so long once again. Let me email her and tell her her question is on the show so she will know. And thank you so much. That was heartfelt. That was long. Now, I normally like to talk about y'all and how y'all rush while y'all writing the emails, but my engineer and producer of the show told me that that's rude. But I really do want y'all to know, slow down, because y'all know I'm reading this on air. Y'all know I'm country. So slow down, read back through it a time or two, and y'all help me help you. Because, I don't want to read something the wrong way, and then I'm saying it wrong, and that's not how it was, so I have a misunderstanding. But I think we got this one. And basically, sister, I'm going to tell you. It's been 7 years y'all have been talking. It took him a year to get you. I don't know why you played hard to begin with, but that's a sign. If you play hard to get, if you were playing mind games, when you play mind games, everyone loses. If you play hard to get because you didn't like the way he looked or you didn't think he was on his level, you should have listened to your first mind, as some of us like to call it, your intuition. You should have listened to that. So either way, whichever one it was, you played yourself. Because if you're playing mind games and you're making somebody work super hard for you when really you like them, then you're going to reap what you sow. If you were hard to get because you didn't like him, that was your intuition trying to tell you this is not for you. He's not the one. He's not on your level. But either way, you continue to talk to him and then you fell for him and now you fell in love with him. But just like what he told you is he started to see it as a challenge. And that is one thing about playing hard to get with a man is men are competitive. We love to compete. That's why we are some of the best athletes in the world. Remember, we were gladiators. We were warriors. We are competitors. So we get what we want. We want what we want, and we will do anything to get what we want. So because of that, he was playing the game extremely hard. And now here you have it. He's been playing you. And so when a man is caught lying, you really can't believe anything he says. And with this whole situation, that could be that could be his daughter, as far as you know. But the lady then says his daughter, so it's probably not. But they were dating. They used to be in a relationship a while back. So now he has this soul tie with her. He has this, she's an old fling. He has love for her, but he needs multiple people. So maybe you weren't sending him money and she was sending him money. Maybe you aren't an entrepreneur or the business minded type person, like the ambitious entrepreneur, and maybe she is or appears to be or claims to be. So he feels he can talk to her more about his dreams and his goals with his program. So she is obviously something that he doesn't see in you. And if you can't be the woman, that he wants, that means he's not the man for you. That's not your man. So if he has to go to another woman to get some very essential things, communication, conversation, dream planning, he dumps his ambition on her. She sends him money, so she's supporting him. She's obviously, in a situation herself. So you and her are both kind of desperate to a degree, because I've never understood the whole dating a man behind bars type of situation with men. Out of sight, out of mind. Like with us, out of sight, out of mind. If you behind bars, it's a wrap. If you are behind bars and he's in the free world, do you know what's going on? Oh my goodness. But women, y'all are different. You loyal to a fault sometimes. And the thing about it, if you're going to be loyal, be loyal. You can't be half loyal. So when you cheated, oh my. And then if you're going to cheat, confess to God. Confess to God. Ask for forgiveness from God. You don't tell him that. So now you told him that, which of course we all should be honest. So by being honest, now you do the crime, you got to do the time. And remember what I always say, when you hit a man, he's going to hit you back. And he's going to hit you back harder. And so he built up resentment. One thing men do not forgive is cheating. So to be honest with you, to be completely honest, I feel like you're wasting your time. Unless he committed a crime in his youth and it was like, and he's serving a sentence from something he done stupid because he was young and dumb, then him being in prison says something about him as a person. And even if he was young and dumb, if he's in prison and then you go to prison and instead of gaining clarity and wisdom and finding God, you find weed and alcohol, or smoking or maybe cigarettes. Either one is killing yourself. So you're smoking and you're drinking and you're playing women, you're juggling women. So prison has made him worse instead of better. So when he gets out, can you imagine he's bringing them same habits to the world, drinking, smoking, juggling women. And now it's a whole lot more women and he doesn't have to write her as a pen pal. He can actually touch her. He can be physical with her. You are going to be in a nightmare. So, and what he's doing now is he's testing your stupidity level. He's trying to see how naive and gullible is this woman. Because if this passes, like if I can pass this by her, if I can tell her, hey, she wants to visit because she wants to talk in person and she wants to bring her daughter so I can meet her daughter. But we are completely done. Like we are over. We have nothing together. She's just coming to visit just to come visit. And she's introducing me to her daughter, the love and pride and joy of her life, just to break her daughter's heart because when we are completely done. So she's bringing her daughter to set her up for failure. And I just want you to keep talking to me too and keep being there for me too, because I'm calling you with the money she pays me, the money she puts on my books. I'm calling you with that. So keep talking to me because I'm using her money to talk to you. But let her come visit me because she wants me to meet her daughter because I help her daughter with her homework from behind bars on my cell phone that is contraband, while smoking my weed that is contraband, while getting drunk that is contraband. So actually, instead of getting out, I may be here an extra 10 years when I get caught with all of this contraband, but I'm hoping you'll be there along with her so she can be my girlfriend on the weekend while you're my girlfriend through the weekdays. That's essentially what he is saying to you in Manglish. And I hope by the end of you writing that email, you heard all of that and it sounded absolutely crazy to you. And I hope that you can pick yourself up and you can hit the ground running. Love yourself. Take the Real Love University on TonyGaskinsAcademy.com. Read the book, Real Love. Read Dr. Gary Chapman's book, The 5 Love Languages. Read Shanti Philhan's book, For Women Only. Feed your mind, feed your mind, feed your mind. Learn how to love yourself. Right now, you need a huge, huge dose of self-love, and that will set you free. And leave this guy where he is. Let him find a pen pal in the women's prison. Let them start writing, or let him build with this woman that he was with in the past and when he was in the free world, because they obviously have something for one another. Let her have him. You are not gaining anything with this guy, but you can lose a whole lot, including your sanity or even your life. Thank you so much for writing that question, and we're going to jump on into question number 2. You're one course away from changing your life. Everything that I've learned, I teach. Visit TonyGaskinsAcademy.com. TonyGaskinsAcademy.com. If you want to become a highly paid speaker, if you want to become an author, even if you just want to love yourself again, visit TonyGaskinsAcademy.com. Grab a course today. I guarantee you it will change your life. All righty, now this question got us another novel here. So this will count for my second book of the week. And it says, I would love to have your thoughts on a situation that I just went through about 4 weeks ago. I was dating a man, 53 years old, for 2 years. The first year was great. He was watching me for months before he approached, telling others where he worked, that he was interested in me. Then he finally gets the courage to approach me and ask me out. After about 3 weeks, we go out. First year, he's doing everything right. Calls, text, every day, sending songs via text, saying all of the right things, coming over, dates, gifts, etc. I made it known from the second month of dating that I was interested in dating with purpose and marriage one day. I told him that I would not date someone longer than 2 years without knowledge of if the relationship is headed towards marriage. At the beginning of the second year of dating, things are starting to go south. He forgets my birthday. He is not as attentive. He stops trying to plan dates. He is coming over less and less often. And I am falling down the ladder on his priority. All the while he's saying, you're the one for me. I am heading towards marriage with you. You are my priority, etc. We are attending church together and studying the Bible together when I can get him to read and study. We are trying to practice abstinence after falling into having sex initially. We had our 2-year anniversary on November 6th, and he went all out with gifts, expensive dinner, concert tickets, etc. Again, I love yous, and you're the only one for me. On November 10th, we went to see his pastor for counseling. This was our third session to discuss our future plan and if we are headed towards marriage. And I just point blank asked him, do you see yourself getting married in the near future, and do you want to marry me? Well, needless to say, he said the things he's always said: I love you, and I wouldn't have introduced you to my kids if I didn't plan on marrying you. And that is why we are dating each other, to see if we can coexist together. Everything but what I felt I should hear. Then when I asked him again, he said, well, I don't know. So I then said, I will take the I and the don't off of that and accept the answer is no. I told him, I don't want you to feel pressured into anything you don't want. So take all of the time you need, and you know where to find me when you know. And then I got up and walked out. I haven't heard from him since. Needless to say, I am absolutely devastated. It's been 4 weeks and nothing but silence. How can a man who claims to love you for 2 years just stop? I want to believe that he did love me in some capacity, or why would he do all of that? Here is some additional info. He has been married 3 times and divorced. He has abandonment issues from his mother passing away when he was a teenager. He has a 7-year-old and 2 adult sons, one of which he has a codependent relationship with. He may still be pining away for his youngest son's mother. I have been told by everyone I know that I should consider myself lucky to be done with this man, but it doesn't change the fact that I gave him my love and 2 years of my life. I was a phenomenal woman to him. I felt called to help lead him back to the Lord, but I guess I was wrong. Thank you so much for submitting your question. Very well written, very well spoken, a lot of details. Thank you so much. I will tell you, he's 53 years old. That's a tough spot in a man's life, still going through a lot. Can't really call it a midlife crisis, but if a crisis comes around that senior age, he's, nearing 55, where he will be technically a senior citizen. And some crises come with that. Men start to go with a lot. Their body is not working the same. He has a 7-year-old daughter. He's been married 3 times. So you dropped all the bombs at the end. Had you said that in the beginning, I would have totally read it differently, like you were just completely wasting your time. But how many men do we know gets married 4 times? So he definitely is, afraid to pull the trigger on this one. He's gonna get cold feet, definitely. And to be honest with you, he's looking around. Men, as long as we have eyes, we will see other women. So we will see them, but it just depends on if we are in a place in our life to where we can see them but not see them. But if you're single and you're looking around and you're 53 and you're looking for the one that you can settle down with and be serious with, I believe you had a very, very good shot and you really were right there. But I feel like your timeline is for you, and that's where you made your mistake. You told him your timeline. Your timeline is for you to know. You don't tell him the timeline, because then you are putting him on a timeline and giving him some constraints, and he has to adhere to what you set in place. So now that makes you the head and you the lead, and no man wants to feel led, because he feels as if he was created to be the head of the household. But if he has a woman who has dictated to him and told him, if you don't marry me in 2 years, I'm gone, that really sets you up for failure, because it builds some resentment. And then in counseling, you ask him in front of the pastor, are you going to marry me or no? Even though you probably worded it better, that's how he heard it. So now you put him on Front Street, you put him out there on blast, you give him an ultimatum in front of someone. He tries to answer the question. He answered the question and said, yes, I'm going to marry you. That's why we're doing all this work. And then you asked him again. Now, when you ask him again, now it makes it seem like you're very pushy, you're very demanding, you're very desperate, and that is unattractive. So then he says, I don't know. When at first it really wasn't, I don't know. He is thinking about it and really moving towards it. But, to be honest with you, after 1 year is when you really become exclusive, like when you should know if you're fully exclusive. If he's saying, yes, I'm going to marry you, then you kind of go with the flow. Your timeline really should be 3 years, because in this day and age, we just need more time. So 2 years is too soon. So it really should be 3 years, but that's neither here nor there. The bottom line is that you told him and you put him on a timeline and you let him know, whereas you in the future should just keep that to yourself, and then you pay attention to the relationship. So that way, without your ultimatums, you get to see who he really is as soon as he's ready to show you who he really is, which could be at 6 months instead of at month 13. And then you can cut him off and leave him earlier. And then if he's not ready to get married and you haven't done that, then now you see, okay, I need to walk away. I need to pull back and I need to kind of save myself. you also were having sex with him, and you were saying that you felt like you were called to lead him to God. But instead, you led him to the bedroom. So you led him to the bedroom, or you were led to the bedroom. So now everything that you wanted to stand for in his life, now you become a hypocrite because you want to be, holy, but then you also have slept with him. And now also you let him test drive the car for so long. It's like, okay, well, I've had it for 2 years now. It's like I might as well just turn it back in. Why buy it now? I already have put the pedal to the metal, and I've experienced all the thrills and everything in it. So why buy it at this point? So what I'm saying is, because you had sex with him initially, you kind of shot yourself in the foot. Anytime marriage is your goal, especially within 2 years, then you cannot have sex at all, because you have to remember the finish line for a man who does not love you is the bedroom. It's not the altar. So if you take him to the bedroom before he has taken you to the altar, you've taken him to the finish line before he's even ran the race. So you played yourself. And a lot of times we don't want to realize that, but at the end of the day, I mean, as women, you have more of the responsibility because you are the receiver. So yes, he may ask you for it. Yes, he may want it, but you have the final say so. So really all the power lies with you. And you say, well, I'm a human and I wanted it too. Well, hey, if you play the game, these are the rules. You play by the rules, you win, you lose. So, it is what it is. So if you give into your flesh, you give into your sexual desires, this is what will be the repercussion. Is it fair? No. But is it real? Yes. And so in order to get around that is you have to live what you preach. So if you say you want to be a woman of God, you want to lead him to God, you want to, have a man of God, then you can't say okay to sex before marriage, especially when it's someone who has already been married 3 times. I mean, each marriage, your chances of success go down. So we already are at 50% divorce. Second marriage, it goes to 70%. Third marriage, it goes to 80%. Fourth marriage, you got a 90% divorce rate because his language of love is failing marriage. And he's 53 years old. So it's like he's been through so much. Y'all probably were going to end in divorce anyways. And that's why he really was kind of hesitant. So you kind of got to just, pump your brakes. You got to look back. And this is one thing. You're never all the way at fault, but you got to be able to look in the mirror and say, what did I do wrong? And you just got to accept responsibility for what you did wrong. You can't worry about what he did wrong, even though he was in the wrong too. And you got to say, what did I do wrong? Okay, I gave him an ultimatum. I didn't know I shouldn't have did that, but I didn't talk to a man who knows what he's talking about when it comes to relationships before doing this. I went off the female mindset, which is the complete opposite of a male mind. And so you have to understand the mind of a human if you're going to be interacting and intimate with this person. So had you talked to me before, I would have told you, don't give him your timeline. That's information for you. And you can just read and react. And so don't give him a timeline, and then don't take him to the finish line, which is the bedroom. Let him court you, let him love you, let him do all the things he was doing. And he was doing that, and then you gave him sex. So it was like you rewarded him, and then he was like, okay, I got it now. Ooh, I won, and I'm not even in love yet, so I could just walk away. But because she's a nice woman, she's a great person, let me keep going. Let me make it look real. Like, instead of just cutting her off right away. And then eventually she's going to shoot herself in the foot because she's going to get demanding. She's going to give me an ultimatum. She's going to kind of turn crazy. And then she's either going to walk away just because she's a strong woman, but just a strong woman who doesn't know how to, deal with a man in this way. So she kind of going to shoot herself in the foot and give me an escape. And then when she gives me the escape, I'm just going to take it. And really it's on her because she walked away, not me. So now she has to live with that and I don't. So all this plays through a man's mind, even if he can't articulate it. And that's exactly what happened. And now you're like, oh man, this hurts so bad. And you're hurting when you walked away, from the relationship. You walked away from him. So it's actually, you should be in a position of power, but you feel as if he's in the position of power. And then you gave him the power because you said, you know where to find me when you figure out what you want, which is basically saying, I will be here waiting for you if you decide to marry me. If you're going to leave, it has to be, I'm slamming the door and you'll never see me again. He has to feel like he needs to get you back the same day. He has to have a sense of urgency. But because you didn't give him that, you said, I'll be here when you're ready, he's going to be like, okay, she has no other options. Like no one's checking for her. So I can continue to sow my wild oats, continue to look around, continue to date around. And if I don't find anybody else better, I'll just go back to her. She'll still be single. She'll still be waiting. And then I'll be ready. And so a lot went wrong in that situation. And ladies and gentlemen, this is what, I'm here for. Just an outside voice. But at the same time, I do relationship coaching every single day. I've been doing it over a decade now. And so I'm no guru or expert, but I just have been fortunate to have a lot of experience in it, see a lot of scenarios, and to learn a whole lot. I tell you, like my daddy used to tell me, if I tell you a chicken dip snuff, you better check on his wing. If I tell you an ant could pull a train, you better hook up the chain. So I'm here to tell you, it is time to, when you're living life, for everything you're doing. I want to build an app right now. I just spent an hour on the phone with a guy who builds apps. I want to learn. I want to do some consulting. So take a course on love, read a book on love, do one-on-one coaching, get the knowledge before you take another step in any area of life, love, or business. Knowledge is power. So find somebody who has already had success, who understands what you're about to get into, life, love, or business, and get some insight. Invest in yourself and get the insight. We have to stop ignoring the ounce of prevention and then fiending for the pound of cure. The ounce of prevention will always outweigh the pound of cure. Hey, this is Tony Gaskins. Thank you so much. We will talk soon.